And with that, Senator Schiff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Sauer, you've served as one of the President's defense lawyers. Should cases arise in the Justice Department involving the same cases in which you represented him, will you recuse yourself?
Senator, thank you for the question. As reflected in the ethics agreement that I have signed and in the regulations of the Department of Justice, as to any matter that were to come before me that might require a recusal obligation, I would consult with the Department of Justice ethics officials and follow my recusal obligations.
So you'll consult with the career ethics lawyers at the department?
Yes, that's correct.
You are aware, of course, that the career ethics officials at the department have been fired, demoted, transferred. They no longer exist. The two people in that office are one of your fellow criminal defense lawyers of Donald Trump and a political appointee who graduated from law school just a few years ago. They don't exist. So who are you going to consult? Are you going to go to one of his other criminal defense lawyers to find out if you should recuse yourself?
Senator, I'm not aware of any personnel actions that you've described, so I can't speak directly to those. I've just recently been through a process where I was consulting closely with a career DOJ
I'll tell you,
ethics attorney.
Mr. Sauer, those actions have taken place, and the two appointees are political appointees. The people who will make the recusal recommendations to you are political appointees. One was Mr. Bove's former chief of staff. The other was a fellow criminal defense lawyer for Donald Trump. If that's who you're going to for recusal advice, no one can have confidence that that judgment will be made properly. But let me move on to another question. You took the position as Donald Trump's lawyer that he could order SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political opponent and not be prosecuted for it unless he was impeached first. Should the president order the use of violence against a political appointment, will that continue to be your position as the lawyer for the United States? Will you represent to the court that any prosecution should be dismissed if the president is not first impeached?
Senator, I believe the exchange that you're referring to, which occurred during oral argument in the D.C. Circuit in that presidential immunity decision, I was asked a question about that, and what I responded was that the president may be prosecuted for an action like that, but under the plain language of the impeachment judgment clause, he must be first impeached and convicted by the Senate.
And as the judge in that argument made clear, that means your position is he cannot be prosecuted unless he's impeached first. So he can order the use of his office to use violence against a political opponent, and you would defend his ability to do that in any criminal prosecution unless he's impeached. Is that your testimony?
I believe this situation came up with respect to a real-world example.
Well, I'm giving you...
In a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing that quickly turned explosive, Congressman Adam Schiff took direct aim at President Trump's former defense attorney, now nominee for U.S. Solicitor General. What followed was a dramatic series of questions that raised serious ethical and constitutional concerns. Today, we're breaking down every key moment from this pivotal exchange, one that reveals just how far the boundaries of presidential power and legal loyalty are being tested in 2025. It began with a seemingly standard ethics question: would the nominee recuse himself from DOJ matters involving Donald Trump, his former client? But Schiff didn't let that slide. He exposed a troubling truth: that the traditional nonpartisan ethics office had been gutted, replaced by political appointees with personal ties to Trump's defense. The room chilled as Schiff asked, "Are you going to consult another Trump lawyer to decide whether to step aside?" Sauer stumbled, saying he was unaware of such personnel changes. Then came the bombshell. Schiff revisited a haunting argument Sauer made in court, claiming a president could not be criminally prosecuted for ordering the assassination of a political opponent unless first impeached. Sauer tried to walk a tightrope, acknowledging the argument was made but brushing off the scenario as outlandish. Yet Schiff was relentless. "You defended that in court. Why won't you clarify it here?" The implication was chilling. Under this legal theory, a president could commit the most egregious acts and walk free unless Congress first impeaches him. Schiff then pivoted to a real-world example: the Justice Department's controversial move to drop a corruption case against the New York City mayor. The acting U.S. attorney wouldn't do it. Her deputy called the move unethical. So Schiff asked point-blank, "Would you be the fool or coward who does it?" Sauer gave no commitment.
If I may.
I'm
where
giving
President-
you, yes.
President
You'll answer my
Obama-
question.
Yes, I believe I am answering the question. President Obama ordered the essential killing of U.S. citizens located abroad by drone strike. And my colleague on the other side of that case was
My
asked-
question is not about President Obama and using a drone strike against a terrorist. My question is Donald Trump using his office to assassinate a political opponent. If he's not impeached for it, would you defend against any prosecution as Solicitor General?
The hypothetical you've offered respectfully is so outlandish, I don't know if I'm in a position to address it.
Well, you addressed it for the court, but you won't address it for the country in this hearing?
I think I've just said exactly the same response that I
Okay,
gave
then
the court. We
exactly the
just have
same
to doctrine-
response is that you would evidently defend him against prosecution for that. Let me move on to the last question. The department moved to dismiss a corruption case against the mayor of New York. The acting Southern District of New York U.S. attorney refused to undertake an action that she believed was deeply unethical. So then it fell on her number two, Hagan Scotton, to do the dirty deed of dismissing this case. This is what he said. Any assistant U.S. attorney would know our laws and traditions do not allow using the prosecutorial power to influence other citizens, much less elected officials, in this way. If no lawyer with an earshot of the president is willing to give him that advice, then I expect you will eventually find someone who is enough of a fool or enough of a coward to file your motion, but it was never going to be me. My question to you, Mr. Sauer, is, would that be you?
Would
that be you if it fell to you to dismiss that case? Would you be the coward or fool willing to dismiss that case on behalf of the president?
I certainly can't speak to any official action that I might or might not take in a hypothetical scenario. I will say that there was a distressing lack of letters like this during the weaponization of justice.
Well, there is a disturbing presence of letters like this.
Schiff's exchange wasn't just about one nominee, it was about the future of justice in America. The rule of law, prosecutorial independence, and the limits of presidential power all hung in the balance. Will the Senate confirm a man who defended legal impunity at the highest levels? Or will this moment be remembered as the line in the sand? Subscribe for more in-depth political breakdowns. This is Voice of the Capitol. Stay informed, stay critical.